In 1918, Germany had just lost World War I, and everything collapsed. The economy crashing, money losing value by the day, a nation humiliated, unstable, desperate. And in the middle of that collapse was a man no one was paying attention to. Adolf Hitler. No power, no position, no influence, just a failed artist. Rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna, living without direction. So ask yourself, how does a man with nothing rise in a country that has lost everything? Was it luck? Or did he understand something others didn't? Because before power came observation, years of watching, listening, understanding what people felt but couldn't explain. Anger, frustration, loss of identity. And that's where the shift begins. Because power doesn't start with control. It starts with understanding what people are ready to believe. Let's go deeper into the background of a man who would become one of the most recognized figures in history. Adolf Hitler wasn't born into power. He was shaped into it. Born in Braunau am Inn, raised under a strict father and a protective mother. Two extremes, control and comfort. So ask yourself, what does that create in a young mind? Discipline or conflict? As he grew older, he didn't chase politics. He chased identity. He moved to Vienna with ambition, to become an artist, to be recognized. But he was rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna more than once. So what happens when ambition meets rejection? Does it die or does it transform? He drifted, lived in poverty, observed society from the outside. And this is where it changes. Because he wasn't just surviving, he was watching, studying people, their frustrations, their divisions, their need for direction, not building power yet, building perspective. Because sometimes the most dangerous individuals aren't the strongest. They're the ones who spend years learning how people think. And by the time opportunity appears, they already understand how to move. Understanding people is one thing. Using that understanding is something else entirely. After World War I, Germany wasn't just defeated, it was directionless. And that's where Adolf Hitler saw opportunity. He didn't enter power immediately. He entered conversation. He joined the German Workers' Party. Small, insignificant, easy to ignore. But here's where it changes. He spoke, not like a politician, but like someone who understood exactly what people were feeling. Anger, humiliation, loss. And instead of explaining, he simplified. One message, clear direction, defined enemies. So ask yourself, why do people follow? Is it logic or is it certainty? Because while others debated, he declared. While others explained complexity, he reduced everything into something people could feel. And then came repetition. Same ideas, same tone, same targets, over and over. Because repetition doesn't just inform, it convinces. And conviction creates movement. Crowds grew, attention increased, and slowly, influence became power. Not overnight, but step by step. Because power isn't taken all at once. It's built through perception, positioning, and timing. And by the time most people realized what was happening, he was no longer just speaking. He was leading. Influence gets attention. Control keeps it. By the early 1930s, Adolf Hitler was no longer just a speaker. He was becoming a central figure in Germany's politics. Then came 1933. He was appointed chancellor. But here's the question, was that the end goal or just the beginning? Because gaining power is one thing, securing it is another. After the Reichstag fire, fear spread rapidly, and fear changes behavior. Emergency powers were introduced. Freedoms restricted, opposition weakened, control tightened, step by step, not all at once. So ask yourself, do systems collapse suddenly, or are they slowly restructured? Because control doesn't always look like force. Sometimes it looks like order. Opposition voices faded, not because they didn't exist, but because they were no longer allowed to be heard. And perception shifted again. What once seemed temporary became permanent. What once felt extreme became normal. That's how control works. Not by shocking people once, but by adjusting what they accept over time. And by the time most realized what had happened, the system had already changed. Not broken, rebuilt. Power reached its peak, but every system eventually faces reality. Under Adolf Hitler, control expanded, but so did conflict. What began as influence became global war. World War II, and this time, the consequences were far greater. Millions of lives lost, cities destroyed, an entire world forced into crisis. So ask yourself, was this inevitable or the result of unchecked power, built on perception? Because the same tools that build power can also blind people to its direction. Repetition, control of narrative, emotional alignment. They don't just create leaders, they shape reality. And when reality is shaped long enough, people stop questioning it until it's too late. By 1945, the system collapsed. Not slowly, but completely, and with it, the illusion of control. So what's the real lesson here? Power isn't just about authority, it's about perception. It's about understanding people before they understand what's happening, and that's why this story matters. Not to admire it, but to recognize it, because once you understand how power is built, you start seeing the patterns everywhere. And maybe the most important question is, if perception can build power, what happens when it's used without limits?